funny. Look at this notebook. I accidentally brought it, and I realized these when we were trying to figure out names because that Trickster thing was gone.
Yeah.
I had written down all this stuff, and we were like, "What? Just cover all this other password stuff."
Top secret. No,
Those
it's
are red.
Whatever.
So that was the
notes?
original name you guys
Well,
wanted,
we
right?
were trying to like be trickstery
Field notes,
with
yeah.
it and not call it that, but call it sort of something that felt like Knife World, TRX, right? And it could still be it. But I mean, when we started calling it Brush Wolf, we were like, that's kind of cool. It's still
It sticks.
very fitting, and yeah. So.
It ended up working better, I think,
Yeah.
just because of the whole, like when we go into our, kind of like our whole thing about the Coyote stuff that we were like,
Yeah,
that
what
he did
inspired it.
these
It's-
projects on and what inspired the design. It'll be like, oh, okay, it makes sense that it ended up being called the Brush Wolf. So
It's more.
So-
It kind of feels more fitting for what the design, how it landed. It's
It all worked out. It just worked out real nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I never learned that a brush was not a wolf.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
a brush wolf was a wolf.
Yeah. Well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I think I think that was sort of
Oh,
how people perceived them. Like
Yeah.
when settlers were here, they were like, "This is some other kind of wolf."
Yeah,
'cause-
they thought it was the same thing.
yeah.
We have another designer. He designed Dice 8.
Oh, right.
It's a group of designers.
which is that's my favorite one out of the kitchen knife line, which
Oh,
I
stop,
wanted to order one.
okay, yeah,
while we were here. We were probably
Just for the
placing an
video.
order. And I've been wanting one for a while.
That
I have
said,
never
I've been
seen
looking
a
at the
suit
kitchen
smile
knives.
that big.
Yeah,
It was for the camera.
Ever.
Too red too.
Huh?
Yeah, I think we'll be able to play with them tomorrow too. So
Just know there's some random designer in this weird little part of Michigan who's like, I want the kitchen knives, I think. You guys can get those for me? I'm like, yeah.
Nice.
All right.
That's badass.
So out of that whole
Yeah.
catalog, and he bought one of ours, but he's like, no, I kind of want the kitchen knives.
And then this dude I haven't talked to in 8 years, like, yo, where can I get one of your knives? And then I'm like, I'll hopefully have more in June. Like we were out, like
People
we
were
were
hitting-
out before we
Aaron lives in Florida now.
We were out in 2 days.
36 hours or something.
Yeah.
Because Dylan
Yeah.
called me so I could pay for our invoice, and he was like, so
Back
you guys want to know how many Brush Wolves sold yesterday? Because it was the release day.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I was thinking about that. And he goes, dude, we're out. And I'm like, what? He goes, no, we're sold out. It freaking sucks. I mean, it's good, but it sucks. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have our 36 coming because they're already sold. Like, I literally had a list of guys that, like, my friends, family, like, his friends, like, that we already had them sold. Like, we didn't even do, like, a pre-order. We were just hitting people up, like, hey, our knives are here. And then they'd, like, PayPal us. And
It was weird to see this stuff happen because I was going to say Aaron lives in Florida now, but was in California for like 15 years or something. And he all of a sudden has people hitting him up about like, hey, how do I get a gun? You know, so people are like, I think I should start thinking about hunting or doing these things where I can be a little more sustainable instead of have to rely on this store that might shut down or whatever all the time. And so it kind of makes sense that there'd be a big interest in all this kind of stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
we're if we keep our current pace and sales stay about where they're at right now, we'll never ever catch up. It's not going to be possible. But we're making all sorts of changes to try and get stuff done faster and more of it. If we can't figure it out, we'll never ever get caught up.
That is crazy.
That's how nuts it's been since it's all happened.
What's awesome about how you guys do it here is like the detail and the quality. And like, we've thrashed other knives. Like, I have not been able to fail a tops knife. I mean, I bent a Silent Hero. I got a Skull Crusher to tweak over a little bit. And as soon as I got it out of the log, it went back. And we were throwing it. Like, I was like, well, let's see if the tip will break off. We were 30 feet away from these log targets at our buddy's house in Indiana last summer. And we're throwing the Skull Crusher. Like, fully.
I didn't know
just-
that was a throwing knife.
It works.
Yeah,
Dude, we're going like
pretty
this
cool
far. Like the
throwing
couple
knife.
times we stuck
It was scary.
And I'm like,
It
oh,
would
for sure the
sink
tips
in.
broke off or tweaked or something. Nothing. The thing's razor sharp. I was just like, I stropped the thing and just right back through paper. And so a lot of things with these knife companies that they start mass producing and then you get all these quality issues. And that's what keeps tops.
Those corners get cut. Here
Yeah, and that's what keeps you guys like to be behind all the time, in my eyes, is like good, because your quality is the same. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed when I did that unboxing video of when you guys sent my custom brush wolf, and I was like, oh, the warranty card, I won't be needing this, and I just tossed it aside. Like, I'm not worried about it. Like, I'm not worried about it.
Well, plus, if you bust one in half because they screw up, you have like 40 other ones sitting around. So, or 40 other tops knives.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, I would, if you guys are like financially okay and maintaining the quality and keeping Tops unique like it is, because Tops caters to so many different types of guys. Like someone that says, oh, I use this brand. Oh, Tops isn't really, and I've heard dudes say this, and I'm like, you clearly haven't went to a show and put every single one in your hand, because I can't decide on my top 5.
Well, that's also how branding works. It gets kind of cultish, so people will be like, no, I like Gerber, and you're like, I don't even know why, right? You like Bear Grylls or something, and then you just fold into a brand, but it's not really about performance or use.
Or it's like, oh, this is a little bit heavier. Yeah, but why don't you research the designer? Why did he make it this way, and what does he do? Like, you can't have a knife fail in the field. Like, I've broken knives before, and it sucks. And I remember when I got my Tops Fieldcraft, and I was blasting through oak with it, and I'm like, I can't destroy this. And I'm like prying with the tip, and I'm like, it's not going anywhere. Like, it's good. Like, I'm gonna have that knife forever. Yep. And so I just feel like being behind like a lot of the other knife companies that we do respect, and there's some other good ones, and it's like, we just so happen to be privileged to be working with you guys, and we've liked Tops for a long time, which we'll go into our back history with skate camp and stuff. But like, I don't know, I just think it's awesome that everything's small, USA made.
You know what's funny? Like,
the quality.
The shop I work at in Michigan, they're behind. They've had like the best year and a half ever. Millions of dollars over. It's ridiculous, but they're importing stuff from China, and then that ship got stuck. Was that like a month or two ago? I forget when.
Was it March?
About a month and a half, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was March.
So all of a sudden, because they're not trying to do manufacturing, right? But they are just marketing and pumping things out, whatever. But so they're getting things imported, and all of a sudden, we go from having this like 8 to 10 week window to we don't even know. And now you can't promise anything. It's just so out of their hands. And that was like a weird fluke, that happening. That's not even to mention some of the problems they've had with the materials
Just
that came from them. Yeah. So
I don't know why we're going up here. It's usually not part of the tour.
Ooh.
Happening.
all right.
And this is where the masterpieces are found. Valuable woodworking.
That's awesome.
Is this you?
Yes.
From far away, yes. From close up, no.
Oh.
You made this?
That's a
What do you mean? Like, is this what you don't want us to see?
No, that's you're supposed to see that.
That's part of it.
He was gonna fix it, but Leo said no.
No, stop it. For the most part, once it gets past here and gets to there, it's just, they look at it one last time and it goes in the box. But every now and then, they'll send something back and it gets, refit, re-cleaned, whatever it is.
Saw this on the back cover of a magazine. And I text Aaron, I'm like, did you see that Hammerhawk that Tops just came out with? And I was just like, what is going on with that? I love it. It looks so cool.
Like on that.
And I wanted to buy it at that blade show, but I was just like, I can't do it. But we were talking about all the stuff we want to buy now. So.
Music got the best in me. Ever since I was a child, now it's showing its ugly face. What can I do? Music creeps into my dreams, wakes me into sweaty sheets, abandons me when nights died out. What can I do?
I got some nice handle scales made from some coyote poop that would work great. Dude, that's cool to see. Yeah.
That's sick.
Do a custom one for you. It's fabric from coyote poop. No.
Does this mean you guys have another run?
No.
Or,
I think it's just
did you
one,
just
right?
save one?
Yeah, that's sweet.
Oh, really?
That's cool. That's cool to see it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.